Welcome back, folks. 40 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. If you should be at the office or your place of work by 8 a.m., well, then you ought to be there by now. And if you're there now, then you can continue to listen to us on 87.7 FM, or in fact, you can join us on tv6tnt.com. Well, did you know that there's Calypso in Venezuela? Well, let's find out a bit more about that. Joining us now in studio is NaldinYo, a new singer and songwriter who was born in Venezuela and migrated to Trinidad at the tender age of 3. His signature Latin soca is a lyrical and rhythmic fusion of soca and Latin melodies. So, joining us is NaldinYo, and we also have next to NaldinYo his mom, Claudia Smith. In fact, Claudia Smith is a former Venezuelan calypsonian known as the Calypso Girl. And next to her is Simon Mendoza. And Simon is, in fact, a producer. Folks, welcome to Morning Edition.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, NaldinYo, you are, in fact, described as a crossover artist.
Yes,
what is exactly the genre that you're crossing over into?
Well, essentially I term it Latin soca. It's a fusion of soca with Latin music, being specifically salsa. So it's the soca and the salsa. Put it together, we call it socalsa.
Socalsa.
Socalsa. The soca and the merengue, we put it together and call it socarengue.
Socarengue.
And then also have another genre, which is soca with samba, which is from my Brazilian ancestry.
Yes.
And that is called socamba.
Socamba. Well, I mean, this is quite revealing. So, the music that we're hearing in the background, you would describe that as?
That is a socalsa.
That's socalsa.
It has soca, salsa, merengue. So that is my first track. Right, work with Simon Mendoza in doing that track, and that actually has elements of soca, salsa, and merengue.
So tell us a bit about the lyrical content. The melody and the rhythm, very familiar.
Yes.
But the lyrical content, do you deal with very important and pressing social, political issues, or is it just a sort of a feel-good kind of music?
No, it's going to range across. In the future, I have a lot of music to produce because I'm a songwriter also. I actually have probably about 52 songs already written. It's just about producing the songs now. But this particular song, Bailan La Calle, it was launched in Venezuela last November, where I did 3 radio interviews and did some performances of the song. And the song is actually a true story in 2013. Where I met someone on Frederick Street, a young lady, and she said she couldn't dance soca.
That happens a lot.
Right, she could only dance salsa. So I said, how about mixing the soca with the salsa? So the song came out actually telling the story of that experience.
Yes.
Because at the end of the encounter, I made sure that she knew what the soca was about.
Right.
And in the same sense, the Venezuelans who come to Trinidad will ensure that we know what the salsa is about. So it's about a cultural unity, you know, and sharing that cultural integration.
Yeah, socalsa.
Socalsa.
And Miss Claudia Smith, you are listed as a former Venezuelan calypsonian. Tell us a bit about your experience in Venezuela singing calypso.
Well, in the late 70s, I went to Venezuela with a friend who had a cultural exchange at the time. Limbo, calypso, and such. So we went across, and in those days it had like the former Rockefellers combo. Yeah, that band, they then renamed themselves the Uptights.
The Uptights.
Yeah, the Uptights.
Okay.
So
what was the rationale behind the name Uptight?
I really don't know, but they call themselves the Uptights. So
I could probably guess it behind the outfits.
Oh, the outfits.
Yeah.
It was tight on top.
She was 29, you know, young lady, Venezuelan, you know,
right.
Uptights. So this when they said, we always keep in contact with Trinidad. We said the soca was about to come out. So they are campaigning for people to sing and stuff. So I decided to enter. And I entered, and there I was.
Yes, singing calypso in Venezuela.
Yeah, and they have, just like Trinidad.
Yeah.
Yeah, mass, everything. Yeah,
So how has it evolved over the years? So in much the same way, a lot of our the calypso art form in Trinidad and Tobago has evolved a lot, especially in terms of how the soca artists today, many of them have come out of that calypso art form. Is it the same kind of evolution taking place in Venezuela, where people are moving away from the social and political conscious type lyrical content